There we go. And things are set back up again. Right, so let's see. It's coming in at like 38-ish degrees, 39-ish degrees. Hardest to deal with. And I think they're all more or less... You deal with them all in the same way, ultimately. So there's not really a hardest in that regard. The more finicky, I guess, would be... Let's think. Now, I understand, I'm still learning. I'm very much still learning, actually. This is the first game that I've played that's ever gotten this far. I'm dealing with a lot of firsts in this. And taming volcanoes, it was my first with this map. But, in terms of the hardest to deal with... I'd probably say would be a useless volcano. Like, a copper volcano is actually really good. Because I use the heat from the copper, the molten copper in a steam room. So that heat gets bled off into the steam, which then runs steam generators and cools the copper to the point where it solidifies. And then I kind of run that around the system a little while until it's bled off lots of its heat. And then I dump it out here into a cooling vat. And then I've got free copper and also free energy out of that equation. That's really useful. But something that's less useful would be, for example, a polluted oxygen vent. Still useful in the sense that it generates oxygen, but a cool steam vent, for example, I've got, I can use that to generate oxygen. It's just water. I just put it through an electrolyzer. Whereas a polluted oxygen vent, I have to sterilize. A germy vent of any kind, again, same deal. I need to sterilize it. It's not very useful. CO2, a cold CO2 vent, not very useful at all. I believe I've got an infectious polluted oxygen vent over here. And I've just left it blocked because I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Insufficient oxygen. That's just not true. Oh, wait, no, it will be. Because the water here has finally stopped running. Right. I can see why. That bridge over there is causing me no end of trouble. No end of trouble. I built that at some point when this pipe was basically backed up and it was just all wastewater, but it is very much not wastewater anymore. And I am struggling with that. But the oxygen generation thing you see there, we're actually in an amazing place with oxygen, even though it's saying that we don't have enough. We really do. If I really, really wanted to, I could split off oxygen down here and run it over there, but I don't need to. Like, I genuinely don't. As much as the electrolyzers have shut down there, our base is so heavily oxygenated. We've got a long time to solve any kind of problem like that. But it is definitely something that was worth paying attention to. This water will now start going in here and filtering through the system, which is good. How's everything doing down here? We haven't got any polluted water coming out from the lavatories. And I'm thinking that what we want is to top up this if we don't have enough. So, time for a new pump. Okay, let's move that across then. I'm going to want a hydro sensor. Make sure that we're not trying to pump out of here when there's just not enough to pump. This should only be active if there's like above 500 kilos or at least above 100 kilos there. That should all be good. And then we hook it up with power. From where? Over here, I guess. Okay, that needs to be prioritized as well then. Right, that'll take care of the water problem. Lieutenant Lupus, thank you very much for the 8 months, mate. But we're fine in terms of oxygen. But yeah, that was a little bit of an issue. That problem will eventually fix itself, but it'll take a while. We've got backed up water all the way as far as this. Effectively, what we were doing was we were dumping water into this system and then dumping excess water back out into the world. It has a very long and energy-intense route to get back into our piping system. It takes a long time to end up back there. That was not good for us, not even slightly good for us. We are slowly, by very small measures, making this problem less intense. Right, it's coming in at 37 degrees, it's leaving at 35. It is now at least in the right direction, but not quite where I want it to be. I'm not going to lie. Part of that is because the water around here is now too warm. It's actually not giving us any chill. Balls. Is it perhaps time for us to start pulling the chilled water from all across here, maybe? Might be. Ultimately, we are still cooling this water down. We're just doing it up here. In the aqua tuners here. So have a look at these. It's coming in at 35 degrees. And it's running through the aqua tuners, then down to 21. This one will only kick in to cool it if it's still above 30 at that point. Because I'm fine with it being up to 30 degrees in the base. So it's coming up here at 22 degrees. It's dropping a lot of that chill because these are easy pipes for it to vent the chill out, or rather to acquire a little bit more energy from the heat around it. It's entering the base at 24 degrees. It is leaving the base at 26 degrees. So the base is being kept quite comfortably temperature controlled. It is a little oasis of cool temperature in an otherwise incredibly hot map. Talking about oases, this is the Oassise Asteroid, which was apparently one of the more difficult ones because chat just hates me and likes to see me suffer. And it's like, yeah, chat. So I'm pretty new to the game. This is going to be one of my first runs that I take seriously. I've gotten, you know, a couple of people in to have like a barracks before, but I've never really completed the game. There's loads of things I haven't done. Let's take it easy, yeah? So what asteroid do you want me to start on? The hardest. The hardest, that it starts off at roasting hot temperatures. Just because, you know, why live life if you're not going to challenge yourself? So yes, it has been a constant battle to keep this place cool. The very early times, it was actually really fun. I'm not going to lie, it was genuinely funny early on. Yeah, take it easy on the death world, no problem. Because I had to really be lucky. We have a world that has a frozen core and had like glaciers, little pockets of frozen biomes. That was absolutely integral to our survival early on. Absolutely integral. The first episodes that I have the VODs up on Aavak After Hours. You can type !archives in chat for that. Which is where I upload my VODs and that sort of stuff. The first couple of episodes was mostly me having to make important decisions on, I really need this thing, but it is on the other side of a really hot place. How will I deal with the heat that I let into the base if I tried to go get it? And yeah, that was basically the first 10s, 20s, 30, 40 episodes was me having to play really, really conscious of the heat that was being generated. At this point, the base is in a much, much better place. And I'm a lot more capable of dealing with problems like that. Not gonna lie, still need this done. Oh, what really am I making out of gold amalgam? Okay, cancel that, but let's not make the pump out of gold amalgam. Not the one that we're using for the pea water, anyway. Make it out of copper ore, please. How are we doing for food? We're doing fine for food. We were up to several million, like 19 million calories at one point. But then, you know, the spaced out DLC update came in where it was like, yeah, you know what? Just keeping it in a sterile atmosphere no longer preserves food forever. You've also got to keep it cold. And then our sterile atmosphere of CO2 over here, the CO2 bath that we had for our like food locker, yeah, millions of calories were decaying like every cycle. It was a little bit rough. No. We will eventually take more dupes, and that will be a big help. Oh, look at this, chat! Oh, happy is the day when we have finally shifted all of the gubbins. The gubbins have been moved. Borita, Darkest area. Still getting a load of stuff done over here, which is a massive pain in the backside, but oh well. I've got 16.9 tons of gold. How is none of it down here? Okay, what I would like in here, gold. Bring the many tons of gold over here, please. And thank you. Right now, chop chop. Right. Let's build this up. And following that, there's a decent amount of venting down here. We can start venting this area shortly. Have I got everything set up over here that I need to have set up? Yes, I do. Okay, good, good, good. Where's the nearest... Where's the power spine around here? Oh, damn it, it's all there. That's actually not too terrible. I can still hook it up around here. That shouldn't be an issue. I mean, eventually I'm going to have to hook the power spine up properly around this area, but it's not something I want to do just yet. Also, the moment I do this, I'm going to cause myself problems. I don't really want that running just yet. Not all of it, anyway. I've got the piping, though, for the gasworks mostly set up. Ooh. Huh. You know what we can do? The CO2 that we want as a sterile atmosphere for our refrigerator over here, we can just run from the CO2 that we're going to be giving to the canister fella. That'll actually work really well. I like that. I do. How am I going to deal with the transport of materials over here? The food I kind of want to come from a different direction in a way. Oh, well. I think what we've got set up here, I need to change a bit. But I do have a plan. And it may, in fact, be a cunning plan. I'm going to have to accept that there's going to be a little bit of food spoilage. That's just the way that's going to be. Occasionally, it may be possible that some food will spoil in in our like kitchen area here. But for the most part, I think it should be okay. Place that down there. It would actually be especially okay if I had some sort of ultra cool some sort of really, really good cooler down here. I wonder. Chat, what would you say if... Okay, so this is going to sound a little bit crazy. What would you say if I used the very rarely utilized, because it's functionally less efficient, thermoregulator to chill the CO2 that I pump into the fridge area to about 0 degrees? It's going to be very cold, and that chill is going to spread into the rest of the base in a way. But, I mean, CO2 isn't, it's a gas. It's not actually very thermally, I don't even think the CO2 has very good thermal conductivity regardless, but it has very low heat capacity. Does it even give me that information here? There we are. Specific heat capacity 0.846 duplicant thermal units, or duplicant thermal units per gram. Thermal conductivity is 0.015. So if we have a look at oxygen, which one of these two is the stronger? Oxygen can hold more heat energy in it, but... Oh, what was CO2? 0.024. That is not what I'm looking for. Oh, actually, maybe it is. No, carbon dioxide, not carbon gas. Yeah, no. Okay, so oxygen can transfer heat faster and requires more heat to change its temperature. Like, well, okay, so heat is the wrong word. Oxygen can transfer energy faster and requires more energy to affect a difference in 1 degree per gram of oxygen. So, CO2 would have to fight harder to warm the oxygen up than the oxygen would have to fight to warm the carbon dioxide up. But as long as I'm constantly pumping relatively cold CO2 into this system... Now, a thermoregulator does exactly the same thing as a aquatuner does. But the thing is, it does it with gas. Now, you might be wondering, well, why is one less efficient than the others? Because the volume's involved. Gas can be pushed through a pipe, and thus a packet of gas at 1,000 grams per packet. So the maximum amount of gas that can be chilled for 240 watts by 14 degrees is 1 kilo. Liquid, on the other hand, can be transferred in packets of 10 kilos. So an aquatuner can, for about 5 times the cost, a little bit shy of that, about 5 times the cost, can cool 10 times as much. And then when you also factor in that quite a lot of liquids are more thermally conductive and have a much larger kind of specific heat capacity, so they can hold more energy per gram per degree change, you get a lot more bang for buck out of a thermo aquatuner for the power that you're putting into it. But it doesn't mean that the thermoregulator wouldn't be a good choice here. What do you call an inherited wig? An heirloom. A heirloom. Why? No. You woke up today and you chose violence. My lord. I think... Okay, we can set this up in such a way. Like if I were to place it here, the good thing about this is it's going to be they don't cool. Right? You've got to understand they work like a refrigerator does. A refrigerator doesn't cool anything; it just exchanges heat. When you put something into your fridge at home, or your freezer for that matter, you're not actually. It's not a magical box that makes the stuff inside it colder. It's just moving the heat around. It's using a coolant and it's vaporizing it or condensing it as it moves through to pull the energy, the heat, out of the things in the refrigerator into the coolant medium, and then it condenses and then runs through a radiator at the back of the refrigerator. That's why, you ever put your hand at the back of a refrigerator, it is quite warm. That's because for everything that isn't as cold as the refrigerator is trying to make it, that you put inside the refrigerator, it gets its energy leached out and then, kind of exhausted out the back of the refrigerator. And this is exactly what a thermoregulator does, or a thermoaccutuner. They will cool the medium going through them by 14 degrees, and they will dump all of that energy into their environment. So they will warm the area that they inhabit up by the same amount of energy that they cool the thing moving through them by. Now, the best way to set this up for me would be, if I were to place this, let's give myself a little bit of room to play with. Input, output. I would want a thermo gas pipe sensor here that will check the... actually, we're going to need insulated gases, right? Okay. I want to check the temperature. If it isn't low enough, it'll run this. It'll run it through this, and it'll drop it by a little bit. Now the problem is, it still might not be cold enough yet for me. So I want another gas sensor over here that will control an automated gas shut-off valve. This... Oh, what did I build that out of? I'll check in a second. This will turn on... Oh, I keep pressing O now because I'm so used to it. This will allow gas through only if it's cold enough. If it is not cold enough, then I need to run it through the system again. And at that point... Let's say it does this. Otherwise, it leaves. Oh, actually, no. I need to make that just ever so slightly different. This way, I can use one to just chill gas down until it's cold enough. But what I will have over here is a bridge that will bring... Oh, I pressed O again. That will bring fresh CO2 into the loop, but will only do so if there's room to fit it in. So effectively, the gas that's in the loop that is being actively cooled takes precedence over any new gas entering the system. So it'll wait until the gas it's cooling has reached a cold enough temperature. Further to this... okay, this is kind of a pain in the backside, actually, but... we want to change this up a little bit. It is always, and I really do mean always, better to have a system with a stabilizer, because the temperature is going to be adjusting by 14 degrees here. That's quite a sway, and that's quite a swing. I want something that will equalize the temperature across a very big volume of gas. So, to that end, let's cancel all of that. I'm going to have a gas reservoir here. We'll make it out of... It doesn't really need to be made out of anything particular, but I'm not going to make it out of steel. We'll have that there. I would like insulated gas pipes up here and across. I will have... a regular gas pipe down here. Again, I'm going to give priority to gas that's currently in this... Oh, my lord. I will eventually remember it. I'm so used to it, though. That gas will get priority. So the gas that's moving through the system will gain priority. And then we'll fill up... actually, that's not actually the best way to do it here. I guess having the gas come in from either direction would be fine as long as it's kind of getting equal priority to move into this, because the gas reservoir is going to equalize the temperature. Basically, in this game, you know, as long as you're only dealing with a single element, it will work the way you imagine it should, and that is it'll dilute. Gases can't mix in this game, nor can liquids, but temperatures do. So if I introduce a hotter, fresh source of CO2 into a reservoir that is otherwise largely full of very cold CO2, the temperature will equalize between these things, and ideally it'll have a nice big reservoir of cold CO2, and only a little bit of hot CO2 is being brought in. And that will slowly, that will instantly chill it down. Then we will pump that through a thermo aquatuner. Haha, I remember this time. Once again, we want this, though, to decide how to exit based on how hot it is. If it is already cold enough, then this should skip. Bring that up one more, and then up. So basically, if this sensor detects that the gas trying to enter here is already cold enough, oh my Lord, then it won't go through the reservoir. If it is cold enough, or maybe I should just have the reservoir, thermo sensor immediately dump it back into the reservoir in this instance, so that it's constantly adding cold back into the loop where it can. I think that'll actually be better rather than having a gas shut-off valve. I think this will actually work a little bit better. But the effect of this will actually be pretty cool. We'll get a bunch of very cold CO2 entering our refrigerator area, which we will probably have here instead. The high pressure gas vent made of iron. Alright. Pretty happy with this adjustment, to be honest. I'm actually kind of excited for it. I feel that we're making something much better than we had before. Okay, let's make these a reasonably high priority then. Let's get it done quickly. Now this is going to store up quite a lot of CO2. There is a part of me that kind of feels that maybe I should be storing that up before, because I'm going to want a decent amount of CO2 in here so that I can always have the soda fountains running. And there is something to be said about that. I guess I could do that if I wanted to move these around a little bit. And I don't really mind it, I suppose. Yeah, let's move that across then. Better now than later. I vaguely recall someone cooling H2 to liquid with the regulator. I believe that the regulator, although it's less efficient than the aquatuner, has less controls on how it works. And so you can do some crazy things with it. Flooding. How? Oh no. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hopeful that wouldn't be a thing that we'd need to deal with, but apparently, yes, it is. Alright. Gonna need to pump that out then. Damn it. There's no easy place for me to fit a pump either. Unless... we going to be that lucky? Oh my lord, we are going to be that lucky. I can put a pump there. I'll have to get rid of the ladder first, so I need to get this area emptied. But that's kind of a pain in the backside, though. I'll be honest, I was hopeful that the pressure here wouldn't allow it to rise up, but... 'twas a beautiful dream. But only a dream. Yeah, we're not going to be able to pump this out, sadly. Unless... No, there's already too much water up there. I mean, right now it isn't the worst, but these aren't going to work. And this can't charge right now, so this is not going to work properly for a little while. Oh, plastic, I will happily accept that. We haven't done anything with space in ages. I do apologize, Jay. But whilst we haven't gone to space, we are actually getting a decent amount of stuff done. Alright, we're back to getting water. Sorry, more oxygen made. That's good. Though we may have already... no, we haven't emptied that out, interestingly. Right, I want this. If it's above 100 kilos, it will pump polluted water up to get recycled. It's not a perfect system, obviously, but decent enough for now. There we are. Right, that should make sure that we've got plenty of water entering the system to keep us going in regards to our electrolyzers. Also, it will sanitize the water in this chlorine environment over here, making sure it has no germs, and then adding that back into the main system. And that water gets brought along to turn into non-germy oxygen for our peeps to breathe. I'm surprised that we had a bunch of idle people. That is a little bit worrying. Can you not get any... No, there's plenty of suits. Oh, right. Yeah, there wasn't enough oxygen getting in to fill the suits. A problem that will be resolved reasonably fast. I'm not really particularly knowledgeable about Scottish folk songs, I'm afraid. I'm not Scottish, I'm Welsh. I simply moved to Scotland, so I haven't been steeped in their culture in the same way. And I've mentioned this a couple of times. I was a little bit disappointed with how lacking in an expression of their culture Scotland was. I was used to Wales, where, you know, every sign is bilingual. But in Scotland, they don't have that, which kind of surprised me and saddened me, if I'm going to be brutally honest. I was expecting to come up here and basically learn Gaelic just from being here, but no such luck. Right. This is a tricky one. If I was to place this here, once again made out of copper, then used an insulated pipe from here So this is anything that is CO2, with a preference for going up there, but otherwise would go in this direction and would meet up with another gas filter that we'll place just by there. Yeah, sure, we'll pop that here. The oxygen will come out in this direction, and then any other gases will go down here. We need to cancel that, but otherwise it's largely the same system as we had before. In fact, yeah, it really will be. I can just take that down here and connect up there. Cancel the deconstruction here. This connects up and then along. The bridge over here connects up there. Yeah, that system works quite well, I think. Everything gets where it needs to and prioritizes what it needs to. So I'm also going to need to provide some power. But otherwise that system is then basically primed. That has been hooked up good. How does the germ overview look? Sure. Got slime lung everywhere here because we basically built it in a slime biome. Zoom out a bit. You've got bands of slime lung. Actually, slime lung's doing really, really well. It's gone everywhere. But we're not really controlling it outside because no one leaves the base without an atmosuit. Got certain areas where it's a little bit less prevalent, but it's quite all over. It's going to take us a long time to clean this, but you know, it is what it is. Down here in the very cold CO2, obviously, you know, not much slime lung down there. But yeah, we've got a decent amount of polluted oxygen from slime biomes just basically sat all over the place. It's unfortunate, but there we are. Copper and gold amalgam. This one is for... I'm not really sure. Not really sure. Oh, do these just pick up anything? Not really sure why this one has everything next to it, but this should be turning iron to steel. So realistically, it should only contain iron. This one is turning iron ore into iron, so I want metal ores here. This one is turning wolframite into tungsten, so we want wolframite here. And then this one is doing all sorts of other weird and wonderful things. We'll just leave that as is. What's the temperature in here? A nice... well, actually, that's barely hot enough. Much better up there, though, to be fair. Yeah, it's going to take a while for the system to really heat up enough to add a lot of steam to this. We'll watch it for now, but... This, though, is going to be a genuine problem that I need to resolve. And I'm not really sure how. The easiest thing that I could do is freeze it all and then dig them all out. So, like a Wheezewort up here would drop the temperature in this area quite aggressively. It might actually be a good plan. But that would necessitate someone coming down here to load it up with phosphorite and the likes. Alternatively, a pump just there just to pull the water out would also work. That is the easiest system, let's be honest. We don't need this anymore, so that can be deconstructed, and this wall can go away. In fact, the whole wall on this side can go away. So I can have a ladder on this side if I want. That will allow me to get rid of the ladder on this side. Pop that ladder there. Get these up to, let's say, 7s. Might as well get all of that done. And all of these need to be a priority 9 just so that this gets applied to them first, whenever possible. Let's pop that back on a 2. And then we want a liquid pump. This is going to be a temporary thing, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Bring that up here. Ooh, my lord. Who? Why? Where? What? The Dickens. Well, this is what happens when you used to have so much oxygen available that you're just dumping it into space. Mistakes were made, chat. Priority is being given to these right now. How to best resolve this? I could bring this down, run it along the top row. I could have 2 bridges there. Bring this up and have it prioritize entry into the base, the 3rd one. But I'm not really sure how to fix this, is the problem. These are almost all full. I guess the best thing I could do is to shut down some of the atmosphere ducts as a priority. Absolutely do it right now. And then get some down there trying to breathe the oxygen. So just get in the suit, it'll be fine. Right, we've got oxygen moving into the base now, so that should be enough to keep them up. While that's happening, I need to resolve that problem. The issue here is there's more than enough oxygen available, but I've, for so long, not had to worry about it that I didn't appreciate that the system was built to just vent half of the oxygen that I had. Rather ridiculously. Right, let's have a quick look at how I could move some oxygen over here. I could instead approach from the top. Actually, yeah. Cancel that deconstruct. What we're going to do is we're going to move along the top instead. Starting to learn. And that's, of course, going to be given a priority 9. Once that's done, I can reprioritize the atmosphere docks. Because right now, only the back docks are going to get enough oxygen now to be functional. But yeah, that was rough. Wow, really? There's natural gas in here? How? Oh, it's because it's all got pulled up from down here. That makes sense. A little bit of chlorine at the bottom now. Food has decayed. Yeah, that's going to happen. The problem is the oxygen pressure in here dropped so low that the CO2 basically got pulled up from down there. That was a bit rough. An oxyfern seed, sure, I'll take it. I only started playing Oni after Spaced Out was released, and I'm really enjoying it. Oni is a fantastic game, truly is.